Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm getting ready to put together a new reading journal. This is something I've been wanting to do for a while, and I've actually started reading journals before and I've just never kept up with them. I have one that I don't have on me right now. It's in the other room, but it's huge. It's like a really big notebook and the paper was blank, and I was using that for a while, and I think I just got overwhelmed with having no structure and just feeling like I needed to fill up the page every time I wrote something in it, and that just wasn't working well for me. So then I started this one, and this one is very close to what I want to do with the new one, because I'm not interested in tracking stats in my new reading journal because I'm using a spreadsheet for that, and I don't necessarily need to have to like color in a bunch of stuff every time I finish a book or whatever. That I know always looks so cool in other people's reading journals, but I don't think it's going to be like a workable system for me. But this is one that I've been using for just like projects where I want to remember kind of long term what I thought about a book, because I'm going to talk about it for a project, and this is what I'd been doing previously. But what I want is to have this for every book. So I did this for the 2021 Goodreads Choice books. In 2022 I was trying to read all of the fantasy and sci-fi nominees from the previous year. I didn't get anywhere close to finishing that. It ended up being like a 50 book list because some of them were in series that I had never started. So it was a very long project, but it introduced me to some of my favorite books. I mean, I read like the entirety of the Murderbot series during that project. I also read the sequel to one of my favorite books during that, and it turned into another favorite. I read A Master of Gin by Peter Djeli Clark. This was also the year that I read a bunch of the From Blood and Ash books, which is a series that I've not gone back to in a while. But yeah, I read a lot of interesting stuff, and what I ended up doing here was I just put like the picture of the book and then the title and author information. Actually, I think this one's just title. But the title and my rating next to it, just in case the little picture ever disappeared if it like came out of the notebook for any reason. And then I've just like jotted down notes on what did I think about this book, what stuck out to me, what did I think worked, what didn't work. Here's A Desolation Called Peace. That's that sequel I mentioned. Still one of my all-time favorite moments, and something I have filmed a hard cut in a vlog from me going, yeah, it should be fun, to me sobbing because I forgot to update in the middle. One of my favorite things I've ever done in a video. But yeah, I really loved this format, and for whatever reason it didn't occur to me to do this for everything. It's just this one project's worth of books, and now I am planning to use this for another project. However, I am altering it because of the new reading journal situation. So what I want to do, oh yeah, Sorrowland was also in that project, and I love that. Sorry, I just looked down and saw that. What I want to do is create basically this exactly, but for every book that I read. And I want it in something that's a little more structured, but can take like some pins and things like that, because I really like writing with my nice pens. I want it to be able to take some of the like Tombow markers and things without the paper warping or everything bleeding through. But I really want to be able to just have like a log of this kind for every book that I read, so that when I go to review things at the end of the month and, you know, recommend them later, talk about them later, I have a more complete record, both from like handwriting down what I think, which helps me remember things, and from having something that I can kind of refer back to and go, okay, yeah, this is what I thought about this book. So I really want to have that. It's something I've been meaning to do for ages, and so what I'm planning to do is have the new reading journal, which I will show you in just a minute, and then this guy is going to be used for tracking just my progress and projects. What I want this journal to be, this one that I've been using, because I've already started it as a project journal, I wanted to make this one where I'm just kind of keeping track, like when I have a big project, how much do I actually finish? How much of it do I actually accomplish? Because I think that will also be interesting for me to see like different like scales of projects. Something that's really big like Goodreads Choice, how much of that did I finish versus something a little bit smaller. So I want to have just like, for themed projects, something that's a record of did I finish it. I'm also thinking of adding a DNF record in here so that I can jot down books that I have DNF'd and kind of reasons on that as well. So again, that I have that record to work from if I want to talk about them later. But I do have a current ongoing project in here, and this, I'll show you the format I'm thinking here, what I'm using for this. But I'm working on a Dark Academia project. Some of you who've been watching for a while may have heard of this before. This is my third year attempting this project. It's going a little bit better so far. I am currently reading the first book. I literally just started the project, so I am reading the first book. But I wanted to have a record that shows like my original timeline, the length of time I've given myself, And then I have over here, if I can turn the page, I have a checklist of all the books I've included along with their page counts. So I have a sense of like how much I was reading, and I have the total pages and the number of weeks that I've given myself to complete that number of pages. And then I have each book in the project written down with just the title and author information, the image, and then I've also added a spot for my rating and a spot for the date started and the date finished. So again, this is just like tracking over time. I'm really excited about this system. I think it's going to work really well for me. These have like very different uses for me in terms of my planning, and I'm excited to give this a try and see what works for me. So the next thing, I guess, is to show you the journal I'm going to be using, and I'm so excited about this because I bought this one from Archer and Olive. I know a lot of people love their notebooks, and I originally was planning to use this in my bullet journal for next year before I thought like, hey, why don't I use it as a reading journal? And part of what made me go, no, I don't want to use this as a bullet journal, is that I have been using the Bullet Journal Edition 2 notebooks directly from bulletjournal.com, and there's just some really nice features in there that work for a planning focused bullet journal that they just work so well for me. I have a system kind of laid out with those, and the layout in this one is slightly different, so I just decided I wanted to keep with that for my like daily, weekly, monthly planning. And so now this one gets to be my reading journal, and it's beautiful. So this is the Halloween notebook from Archer and Olive. This is the one from their Halloween box, which I did order because this was such a beautiful notebook. I feel like the other items in the box were really interesting. They're all kind of sitting here. We got some washi tape. There's a cute little notebook with like tearaway pages. It's like, or it's a notepad for like keeping on your desk so that like when you need to jot something down, you can like have something there to write on. There's a sticker set, which I may end up using in the reading journal, although I have one or two that I think I want to put on my bullet journal for next year, and a calligraphy set, which I cannot get open, so I cannot unfortunately show it to you. It's really hard to open and close, but this one's like got 3 different kinds of ink and one of the kind of little quill pen type things where it's like just a nib that goes on a little pin. So very excited about all of these other items. However, this was really the draw for me. I really wanted this notebook, and I'm very excited to have this be my first reading journal of this kind. So I think it's gonna be perfect. Inside it also has bats over here, and I think my plan is going to be that I'm going to make some index pages, and I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with this first page yet. I'm gonna leave it blank for now. I think I may use it for writing down some like goals or something for each year, and then I'm gonna have a few index spreads where I'm going to, I think, split the pages to give myself plenty of room. And then my plan is just to continue having something that looks just like what that was. Like, I'm gonna have the little image. I've already figured out what size I need to print the images to have them be the size that I like. I'm gonna print the images. I'm hoping at some point to get one of the Canon IV2 little printers because it prints directly on sticker paper, and that way I could waste less paper and also not have to glue things down all the time and get glue everywhere. But just gonna have like the image, the title and author information and my rating, and then just my thoughts, just as much writing as I want to put or as little writing as I want to put, depending on how I felt about the book. I'm not going to be including DNFs in this one because I don't consider them read if I didn't finish them, so I don't want to be including those here. That's why I'm thinking I may put a DNF record in this one. That's just a different kind of tracking for me. So that's kind of my thinking there, and I guess let me swap over and see if I can both draw and show you what I'm planning. We'll see how well this works. Okay, so please bear with me. I have not tried to both hold a camera and draw something at the same time before. Or it's not gonna be drawing so much as just like sketching pencil lines. But here's the notebook up close and personal. It's very pretty. It's got some little moons on the back. Got all my drawing and writing implements right there. And what I'm planning is I gotta put my name and information there. I'm not going to do that just yet, but I'm gonna do something with this page. I haven't quite decided what this is going to be, but it's going to be something. And then I think this spread and this spread I'm going to set aside as index pages. And my thought with that is that what I want to do is, if I can, here comes in the drawing and holding a camera at the same time thing is if I can figure out where the middle of the page is, which it looks like it's kind of right in here. Let's see, one. Also, if my camera will focus. There. My idea is basically to just find the middle and put just a line straight down the middle. That might have even been the middle. It'd be wild if I got it in one try. But put like, not a line like this, but some sort of like dotted line straight down the middle. Just marking it with my pencil now for reference. And then have just, you know, each line I can put a book and what page it's on. And you may notice these are not numbered pages. I will be writing in, of course, we're struggling to focus. Okay, put my hand back. It seems to like it better when my hand is here. These are not numbered pages. I will be like writing in the numbers on the corners, which is fine. I've done this in other notebooks when I've needed to. But I'm going to do that for this 2 spreads and this 2 spreads because I genuinely don't know how many books I'm going to end up fitting in this because I've never done this before. It may be that that's way too much room for the index. I don't really know. But I want to give myself plenty of space because this page is 38 blocks tall. So basically if I split it, that gives me, depending on title length, about 76 books worth of space in an index, and I read somewhere between 50 and 76 in a year. Or sorry, 75. 50 and 75 in a year. So I think that'll give me like a couple years worth of space. And if I give myself 2 spreads, just in case I end up fitting like way more books in here than I'm anticipating, that way I have plenty of space. So that's gonna be what? That's that index, and this is index. So then on these pages, when I get past it, my plan is to just have something that's, measured this earlier, I think it's like that, and then like that. So it'll be like a 1.5 tall by 1 inch wide. Let's see if that's going to be visible. Something approximately like that. For now, I'm going to be printing them, but the 1 inch by 1.5 inch is what the Canon printer that I want prints, so I want it to match when I swap over to that, whenever I manage to get a hold of one of those. They seem to sell out really fast when they're on sale, and I really want to wait till they're on sale to buy one. But I'll basically have like the title, or I mean the cover, and then like the title here. I can't believe I managed to write that. Author. And then probably like rating. That doesn't look like a word anymore. Anyway, title, author, rating, and then notes. And that is, it doesn't like to focus unless my hand is here. That's basically my plan for these pages. And I'm just gonna keep going like that forever until the thing is full. This one does also have, let's see if I can show them at the bottom if it will focus on them or not. It has 2 little bookmarks, so I'm going to use those. I think one's going to go in the index, and one's going to go on, like, whatever my current page is. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm planning. I know it's, like, super simplistic, but I think it's going to work for me, because what I want is something super simplistic. If it's too fancy, I won't do it, because I'll get tired of drawing or trying to plan designs or whatever very quickly, and I just won't do it. So hopefully, this, like, very simplistic design will allow me to be consistent with keeping a reading journal. So that's pretty much it. I know this has been very like simplistic and short in terms of like a journal planning video. I've seen so many incredible journal planning videos, but I just prefer to make my journals of all kinds simple, because I know that if I make it like super artistic, I'm not gonna keep up with it, and it's gonna be a problem. So I think that this is what's going to work well for me, and I'm really excited to give it a try, get started. I am planning to start this for October. I can't remember if I've said that already, but I'm planning to start this in October. I don't think I'm likely to finish any more books in the last couple of days of September due to having a lot of chores to do ahead of having company at the end of next week. So I don't think I'm gonna finish anything else this month. So I am gonna start this off for the last quarter of 2024. And I'm just so excited. The really wonderful thing for me about that is that like it's a Halloween journal, and that means that if I'm starting it in October, it's like the perfect time to be starting it, because like the first book that I put in here is going to be like Dracula or one of my dark academia books. It's going to be something like very appropriate to the journal itself, and I'm super excited about that. I feel like Dracula almost should be the first book I finish, just so it can be the first book in this like bat themed notebook. But yeah, I'm just super excited about this. Oh, it's got little bats in the back too. I don't know if they're going to be visible, but there are like little bats embossed in the back. But yeah, I'm just super excited to give this a try and see if I'm able to be consistent with it. I know it ends up being a lot of journals, and I'm keeping track of a bunch of different book information in different places, because then I'll have like this project tracking. I use Notion for my YouTube planning, kind of a combination of Notion and my bullet journal. My bullet journal, I keep like notes that say like film video for X day, or edit video, you idiot. That's the kind of stuff that I put in my bullet journal. I usually don't write you idiot next to it, but that's why it's there, is that like I will forget. So I use that. I use Notion for my YouTube planning, and then I also use spreadsheets for all of my stats. It does mean I'm going to be writing things in like a lot of places, but I'm kind of okay with that because they all have very different uses for me, and I think that this is going to be a really good supplement to the other ways that I'm tracking my reading. Just to check back in now that I have actually assembled this thing. Wow, my office is dark. Hang on a second. Let me turn on a light real quick. Better? You can see I was getting ready to transfer footage over. But I thought I'd check back in because I have actually started putting things together, and I decided this front page is going to be new favorites. Like, I thought it'd be fun to just print an extra copy of covers for books that I absolutely loved, and just make like a little collage up here of the stuff that I find that I love. So I thought that would be fun and like cheerful as a front page. I also put a little note to myself over here of like the number of spaces I have on each page. Then here is what my index actually looks like. We've got the dotted lines. I've also done just like a little header to be like, okay, the next section of books is stuff I read in 2024. It's going to be Q4 only, since it's just going to be October through December. And then I'll do the same again when we get to 2025. So that's the index pages. And then I decided to just give myself 3 index pages, because that gives me like 200 and some spaces to write books, and I don't think I'm going to fit that many books total in here. So I felt like that was reasonable. That's at least a couple years of reading for me. And then I put this here because this spot up here is where I'm going to put the first book. My mom has started watching something downstairs, and it's quite loud, so let me shut the door. I don't know if that's coming through in the video, but I know that I can hear it. It's very loud. So, anyway, like, book will go here, title, etc. I unfortunately haven't finished anything, so I can't, like, put anything in here as an example, but I think, like, for now, since I don't have, like, the little printer I want to use, what I'm gonna do is I have, like, a page layout set up in an InDesign document that's the size that I want, and I think what I'm gonna do for now is just draw out, like, use a ruler to give myself, like, a little pencil space for the covers, and then when I get a chance to actually print, like, a bunch of them at once, when I've read enough to print, like, a page, then I will come back in and add the photos. Just for now, until I have, like, the little printer, so that I can print, like, 4 at a time, instead of, I think, pages laid out to print, like, 12 or 16 at a time. So, for now, that's what I'm going to do as a stopgap solution. But yeah, there it is. That's what it's going to look like. So anyway, that's all I have for you today. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I would love to know down in the comments if you keep a reading journal and like what kind of information you keep track of. I'm always interested to see like how other people track their reading, if they track their reading at all, and I just would love to know, like, how are you handling that? How do you keep track of what you've read versus things you want to read? What's your method for that? I would love to know. But yeah, I really hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, I hope you consider giving it a like, maybe even subscribing to see what comes next. Currently posting on Tuesdays and Saturdays? No. Well, I am throughout October, so I am currently posting on Tuesdays and Saturdays, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.